right, friends, how are you today? My name is Michael Eschenburg, and this is Honest Astrology. We're talking about the full moon in Capricorn that's happening on July 21st at about 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let me show you the chart here. We have our sun in the sign of Cancer at 29 degrees. Our moon across the way at 29 degrees in the sign of Capricorn. This is our full moon. At the 29th degree is the anaerotic degree. In astrology, the 0 degrees and 29 degrees. It means there's a lot of energy. There's a lot of force here right before it squeezes out into the next sign over, both the sun and the moon, very closely together, moving over into Leo and Aquarius. Now, the sun rules the sign of Leo, while the moon rules the sign, or is better associated with the sign of Cancer. So the sun is in the place of Cancer, the moon, the home of the moon, illuminating our emotions, the watery emotions of the moon. The moon is in its opposite, its fall of Capricorn, a place where emotions don't really have a lot of sway and jurisdiction, okay? And to look at this, we can say that this is going to represent a mom and pop shop, and this is going to represent Wall Street and big business. Here in the mom and pop shop, you might hire your family members or close friends, and you're going to allow them to get away with a lot more in your small business. And because I love you, you're my family, you're my whatever, I'm going to allow this leniency. Okay, my emotions, I'm going to allow this. You're my family, right? Cancer energy. Over here in big business, government body Capricorn, the energy is not, it has nothing to do with emotions. So if the energy is saying you aren't coming into work on time, you're not showing up and doing your responsibilities, you're bringing too much emotional drama into the workplace, you're not the best fit for our company, without a question of a doubt, we have to let you go. And it has nothing to do with emotions. And Capricorn can get a bad rap sometimes, or Capricorns, people who have the sun or a moon or even a rising sign in Capricorn, can sometimes get a bad rap for being cold, stubborn, or unemotional, when the truth is it's extremely logical earth sign, and it has nothing to do with emotions. It's the observer that allows the emotions, our personal emotions, to inflict on what we are observing, where Capricorn energy is simply the physical reality without an observer into it, right? So we can say there's a squirrel on the grass or a chipmunk on the grass, and a bird swoops down. The chipmunk is going to find some nuts or whatever, harvesting its nuts, and the bird's going to swoop down and eat the chipmunk. And then a cat comes over and kills the bird. Then a dog comes over and kills the cat. Then the dog runs into the street, gets hit by a car. And we could have an emotional reaction to any of these things that I just said, because we have feelings, whether it's for the chipmunk or the cat, the dog, the bird, the nuts that the animal is eating, the person that hit the dog, the person that damaged their car, the person that has to live with the fact that they just hit a dog. You know what I mean? Like, so it's our observation that allows the emotions to inflict on the physical reality, where the physical reality is not necessarily a place of emotional things. It's just simply things that are happening, and then the observer has the emotion. And right now, it's important to understand that every new moon, every full moon that we have here, because astrology is big cycles, we're really looking at the North Node in Aries. Okay, the North Node in Aries is saying, what is this entire year of 2024 all about? This is about me and myself, and having the best relationship with myself, understanding that of which I value, as we have Uranus and Taurus. And let me take this back, actually, because today Mars is also in the anaerotic degree right now as I'm doing this video. It's 2:30, so not until after quarter after 4 Eastern Standard Time here, Eastern Daylight Time, excuse me, Mars is going to move out of Taurus into Gemini. Okay, so slow, where we have been maybe a little bit more slow and methodical, and things recently in the past week or so have been feeling upheaved, turmoil perhaps, or things aren't working out the way that we want them to, which is okay. We can expect to be disappointed in a certain ways in the next few months, in the next few years. Being disappointed is a ability and an emotion that we should feel okay in, because we're going to be dealing with change, compromise, personal growth, and collaborations. And during those compromises, both parties leave unsatisfied during the greatest compromises. So here we're talking about value, and what do we value? What do we value? Our emotions. How do we value our emotions, and how are our emotions being executed into the world? Okay, so Mars is going to be moving outside of Taurus, all about the things that we value. How can it be practical in this world? But Mars conjunct Uranus is saying this is a very challenging time right now, because we're challenging tradition, we're challenging what reality is, we're challenging solid ground, we're challenging what we value, we're challenging how we've received income in the past, and maybe this is all going to change. So if you've been very irritable, let me come back here. If you've been irritable at your job, irritable at your workplace, this is potentially the universe. It's like at first the universe, spirit's going to tickle us with a feather. If we're not paying attention, it's going to tap us on the shoulder. If we're really not paying attention, it's going to sock us in the face with a brick. So if we're finding these things of unhappiness or unjoy in what we're valuing, and seeking out monetary value, and what we're seeking, how we're receiving money, or if we're spending our hard-earned money, what we're spending, every dollar is a vote. So what are we voting for, right? This is election times right now, so it's very interesting in what we personally are voting for. What am I personally spending my dollars on? Is it whatever it may be, that may be up in question right now? Whatever it is that you value may be up for question right now, and you could be going through great change and saying, I no longer value the thing that I once valued. I no longer, I once wanted this, and it doesn't give me the same dopamine hit. It doesn't give me the same energy, doesn't give me the same fulfillment. So that's okay. That's saying it's time to pivot, it's time to change, and don't keep going in that direction of what's not working. And this is what's beauty, is Mars is now moving into, in time for this full moon, here we go, into Gemini, which is, look, there's a lot of options now. Maybe you've been stuck in the way, and look, water only flows down its path. Water is not going to just jump over. Mars is about action and flow. And so this water here is going to go down the exact same path every single time. That's tradition. That's the flow. That's Taurus energy. This is how the Grand Canyon was made. This is how rivers and streams, every river and stream leads to the ocean. But the water doesn't just pick up and say, I'm going to create a stream 4 feet over just to see what it feels like over here, or just to see how the sun beams through the trees. We have that ability with Gemini to say, look, I'm getting out of my little stream here. I'm not committed to just this one area, this one stream. I'm going to see what else is available. Now that's very important, because Gemini also has Jupiter in there, which is saying expand our minds, expand our minds. And this is extremely important during this full moon, of expanding our minds, expanding our abilities to think. Is there a right and a wrong way to think? This is an interesting topic. This is an interesting question. Is there a right way to perceive the world? Is there a right way to perceive through the eyes of you? And you will have other human beings in life that are going to tell you, yes, there is a right and a wrong way to think. If you're beating yourself up all the time, if you're constantly thinking everybody else is stupid, if you think your partner is stupid, if you're thinking less of them, it's like if we're talking on the scale of positive, negative words that we can use, a lot of psychologists and a lot of very well-educated, smart people are going to say it's not good to talk about that which we don't want, because what you want in life is going to be manifested through your thoughts and your words. So if we're talking about the things that we don't want, if we're complaining about what we don't want, we're complaining about our partner, we're complaining about the opposite sex, we're complaining about whatever it may be, we're simply going to find more of that which we don't want in our personal reality, which we're going to have an emotional reaction to. Now, the world is just going to keep providing for you Okay, the universe keeps providing and saying, yes, your wish is my command. You keep thinking about this, we keep activating it. You think about it, it's an electrical, emotional reaction in your heart. You're sending that signal through your torus field, right? So it emanates up and out of your heart. Your electromagnetic field of wells in the brain, all of your synapses are firing, and it's shooting this message out and saying, this is my emotions, and this is my thoughts, and this is what I want and desire. And it's going to say, the universe is going to say, here's more of that. So if it's more complaining about, it's more complaining about. And so there's a way of shifting our brains right now and shifting our emotions. I say this quite often. If on the way to this is somebody else's quote, I don't know who it is, Warren Buffett maybe. On the way to the beach, if we stop and entertain every barking dog to try to calm it down, because we love dogs and we want dogs to be our friends and we want to be friendly with dogs, we're never going to make it our way to the destination. Okay. Now that goes with whoever, if we're allowing ourselves to have an emotional reaction by somebody else's words or thoughts, actions that are different from our personal perspective and point of view, if we're going to have an emotional reaction for how somebody else is living. Now, when I'm saying somebody else is living, I'm talking about lawful. A lawful way of living that's just simply different than yours. Let's say you're a vegan and this person eats meat all day long and you don't understand why. You know, it's like, and if we have an emotional reaction or we want to engage in them and say, your carbon footprint in this, it's like they're allowed to do that. Again, I don't care. You can do whatever you want. You can think however you want, but I'm saying this is astrology right now, this is what it's pointing to us, and this is what it's telling us right now. If we have an emotional reaction with everything that has a disagreement to us, everybody else is holding our leash and essentially controlling us. So we have to figure out how to maintain our emotions, how to control our thoughts and emotions, to take a moment, to take that breath, to not have a reaction. Okay, this is what the universe is telling us right now. This is what the astrology is telling us, is how are we responding? How are we reacting? As well, that eclipse that we had earlier this year was connected with Eris. And anybody that's born around 1990, it is like 84 to 90 something, is like really that eclipse that happened was conjunct Eris for your personal natal charts, if you're watching and you're in that age group. So it's like, how are we dealing with information that's been given to us? And right now, I can certainly say that I see less people sharing their music, less people sharing their photography, less people sharing what they love and want and desire, less people sharing their poetry online, less people sharing their stories. And I see more people talking about politics. More people are being controlled and run by the political leash that has on them, and think that I need to share and talk about this topic over living my life and doing my thing. And again, with the astrology right now, it's saying with the North Node, it's like, listen, you got to be your best friend. You have to be the person that you wake up to every day and say, I'm so thankful to be in this relationship with this body. Okay? Venus is over here in Leo, making a trine to this. I have to love myself. I have to love who I am. It doesn't matter what the rest of the world is doing. I have to love myself. I have to appreciate myself. I have to value myself. And I have to be able to understand that as well, because this sun here is also opposite Pluto in community Aquarius and government body moon here. Okay, there's a couple things. One is we have a perceived concept. Most people have a perceived concept that the government is outside of self. But the truth is the government is us. You and me, we are the government. Again, every dollar is a vote. So what are we voting for? Okay. And if we have the idea that the government is us, then we also have some sort of say and control in what we're doing and how we're maneuvering in this world. Okay. And if we are allowing our emotions in the place of professional business, if we're allowing our emotions for whatever reason, doesn't matter if it's politics or if it's somebody's green and doesn't know what they're doing and you're very experienced and you lose your cool on them, they may be green and not know what they're doing, and you may be a professional and super experienced, but you're the one that lost your emotions. You're the one that lost your emotional stability because of their immaturity, their amateurness, whatever it may be. At the end of the day, it's the person that lost their cool that looks bad, right? That's to the observable universe. One of these two parties lost their emotional balance. And I love that. This is something else I said a long time ago, and I was taught from a dear friend of mine. When we yell when someone's far away to get their attention. When someone's very close to us and we yell, we're very far away from ourselves, right? So we have to be paying attention to how we are communicating our emotions within the body, the governing body of our community. It has to change. And just like a yawn can be contagious, so is complaining, so is sitting in our sewing circles and blabbering about politics or blabbering about what we're afraid is going to happen come this time next year, or what we're afraid of. And it's like this astrology is also letting us know we are being manipulated. Okay? We have Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces. This is the illusions, the delusions, the fantasy of we don't know what is real and what is not real. You close your eyes and you run a race in your mind versus you running a race in real life. Your brain doesn't know the difference. You fire the same synapses. Okay, your muscle fibers twitch just the same, and you're going to gain maybe 30% of the muscle mass if you work out mentally versus working out physically. This has been studies that have done, and you can look up. I think it's 30%. Please fact check me if you want, and throw it down in the comments below. But either way, you know, it's easier to tell someone. It's easier to manipulate someone than it is to tell them they're being manipulated. And right now there's a lot of shooting the messenger, which is certainly going to happen. And it's how we deliver this message of the fact that we are being manipulated. Again, I work in the entertainment industry. I see it firsthand in how we're using certain words, certain strings of putting sentences together, tying in products into it. Everything is a product placement, and it's like here to say buy my product. Okay, and now Mars is creating that beautiful sextile over here to Neptune and then moving out. It's breaking free of Uranus, right? Breaking free of these. It's like, can we wake up and see that we're being controlled, we're being manipulated by the media? And they want to control our emotions so that we lose our cool in our communities, so that we continue to talk about whatever, you know, and just let our egos in a certain way just take over, and our emotions and our egos are just running the show here. And it's just like, is this the best for me to communicate my emotions? Is this the best right now? Can I pivot? Can I change my course? The answer is yes. Do I need to talk about the things that we're talking about? Do we have to talk about, excuse me, current events? Can I live my life and find my personal joys? Okay, this is another beautiful sextile that's going on right now, is between Jupiter in Gemini and Venus in Leo. It's like, what is your personal joy? Finding that joy, because it shouldn't be complaining. And if complaining brings you joy, that should be under discovery right now, a place of self-discovery within that. Like, let me come back here for a second, okay? North Node in Aries, this is about you, your relationship with yourself. Creating a sextile to Jupiter, this is about self-discovery and opening our minds and expanding our minds to different ways of thinking, different ways of doing things. And creating the sextile as well to Venus in Leo, this is about loving yourself, loving life, having, you know, it's like whatever, however way you dance and however way you move to a song, it doesn't matter what's the cool way to do it. It's how you're moving your body. And because you love your body and you love yourself and you love the music, you're allowing yourself to express yourself. Okay. And there's this kid that's on Instagram that wears this like camera right here on his face, and he loves trains. Okay. I'm not a train enthusiast, but I follow this kid, this young man, whatever, on Instagram, because it's his sheer enthusiasm when he posts that I get excited about what he's saying. And it brings me to a place of, Aaron, what gets you really excited about life? And when I see this gentleman's posts, it makes me want to follow the things that bring that joy out of me. And when I see scrolling through social media and you see people complaining, again, it's the yawn effect. And we also just kind of want to jump in and share our opinions with that. And right now, the astrology is offering a different route, a different path, and letting us know that we are not the river that only runs this certain way. And this is how I've been my whole life. This is how I've been. And because of this thing that happened to me when I was a kid, this trauma that happened to me in the past, this relationship I had with my ex, the relationship I had with my boss, or this accident that I had, and it's put me into this mental and emotional and physical state. And now I'm stuck in that rut. The astrology is saying, no, we're not stuck. We have the opportunity to change. We have the opportunity to grow. We have the opportunity to learn something new. We have the opportunity to learn new ways, right? And there's a lot of people that have a lot of really cool knowledge to share out there in the world that offer these kinds of things. So my friends, if you've stuck around this long, please, share this. This goes on YouTube primarily, and then share this on Instagram. Share this with somebody if you feel that this is important or a good message for them. And then as well, in the comments, who do you like to listen to? Who do you like to watch that offers positive, juice for the mind, positive messages, something that allows us to say, oh, we can look at it this way, or we're very confident that our emotions are correct, that our intuition is correct. We're very positive in the fact that something is going to go wrong. And in that positive thinking, there's a lot of confidence in the negativity. So then there's teachers out there that are going to say, well, then just switch that confidence over to the positivity instead of taking up the negative place in your mindset, right? And you're going to find more of the positivity. So there's a lot of people out there that are talking about this stuff. So please, if you have, the Dr. Joe Dispenza's, the whoever you can think of, if you want to share in the comments, please do. This is a community. We all heal together. We share together. We grow together. So if there's anything you want to add and contribute, please do. Have a happy full mooning. This is a really positive opportunity for us to re-fall in love with ourselves, recognize our own emotions, especially in the workplace, in the professional place, of how we are responding to people. And we all fall into it. We all have moments where we break, where we kind of snap on people or say something we shouldn't have said. And this is like, okay, can we take this moment? Can we take a breath? Can we take a beat before responding? And recognize how this is all from a more logical standpoint, emotionless standpoint, to being able to have direct communication with an opponent, with two people that have different point of views, having a logical conversation versus an emotional conversation. Hugely different in the way that we respect one another when we are able to have this. It's hugely different when we can communicate from a logical point of view our differences, opposing of letting our emotions run the show. Okay. And lastly, this is the last thing I'm going to say here, because I know this is a long one, but because this is exactly a water trine to Neptune, an emotional moon in Capricorn, okay, this is your physical body. This is you, right? Over here, we're all unified. Here, this is just you. Only you can lift the weights and get stronger. Over here, we can group think. And groupthink, we've known this for a long time, that we can sit and meditate, and having that meditation, if we all meditate on positivity or something, we're going to see a spike in the electromagnetic field in the earth. We see, there's deeper science about that I can't really explain right now, but we know that this is factual things. So our emotions, our moons, government, when we're allowing as well the government stuff right now to run us, it's not a positive thing for us to really definitely pivot that. But if we're dealing with addictions, my friends, it's your physical addiction, it's your mental addiction, it's your emotional addiction to a thing. You and your personal identity, emotionally, mentally, right? And look at this, creating this septile over here to Mercury and Leo. Okay, this is about our minds, taking action, expanding our minds. This deals a lot with our minds and our emotions right now. So seeing if I'm the one saying, I don't want to smoke cigarettes anymore, I don't want to drink coffee, I don't want to smoke weed, I don't want to drink alcohol, I don't want to fill in the blank anymore, whatever it may be, This is an opportunity right now to take that very seriously with yourself, because our minds can be made up and we can say yes, and our emotionally say yes, I'm living on this path, but then there's something that draws us back. There's a chemical imbalance within our bodies. Okay, so our mind can say I want to quit, our emotions can say I want to quit, physically I want to quit, but then our bodies are going to say I want my feeling, I want my dopamine hits. Okay, be strong. Be as strong as you can be right now, because this is an opportunity to break the flow, to break the rhythm. It's an opportunity to look at it and say, this river is drying up. This river no longer supplies me. And I know my friends will say, oh, I'm trying to quit smoking weed or trying to quit drinking. And I'll go for a little bit away from it, and then I'll do it thinking that this is what I like, thinking that this is what I want, thinking that this is going to give me my dopamine hit that I desire. And then they'll do it and immediately feel guilty. Like, I shouldn't have done that. This isn't. And so again, this is the tickle of the feather, the tapping of the finger, and hitting ourselves with the brick. The point is, the point is to avoid the brick, because the brick is usually more severe consequences. So if we're getting those intuitive nudges right now to stop doing one of these habits or stop doing one of these things, this isn't just a mental or a communication thing. This is a physical activity as well. We have this wonderful ability to take that very seriously and take the universe, this gift that the universe is giving us, this full illumination, and saying why I don't want it anymore, feeling why I don't want it anymore, knowing why you don't want this, and create that necessary change in your life and succeed with it and follow through, as the Capricorn goat does get to the top of the mountain, right? And it's tricky, 29 degrees. So that means it's going to come with challenges. There's going to be those aches. There's going to be the pains. There's going to be the yearnings, the wantings, the cravings, but you're strong mentally, emotionally, physically to get through it. I love you, my friends. Happy full mooning. I wish you enough, and we'll see you next time.